Okay, let's just jump right in. The U.S. housing market has been a story of uncertainty and huge affordability challenges for a while now. But when you look at the very latest data, there's this one powerful, almost surprising trend that wasn't just keeping the market afloat. It was literally the only thing driving it forward. So check this out. In just 1 year, the U.S. gained a net 441,000 Hispanic-owned homes. Now, that's not just a big number. It was the single largest increase for that demographic ever recorded. But believe it or not, that's only half the picture.
Because at the exact same time that was happening, the rest of the market was going in the complete opposite direction. There was a net loss of 544,000 non-Hispanic owner households. So what does that even mean, when one group's growth is the only thing stopping a total market nosedive?
Well, it means we have to talk about the market's new engine. See, this isn't just a story about some interesting growth. It's a story about how one demographic became the single most critical force in all of American homeownership. Here's the bottom line, and let this sink in for a second. According to the latest NAHREP report, Hispanic households were responsible for all of the net growth in homeownership. Actually, if you do the math, without their gains, the U.S. would have seen a net loss of about 125,000 homeowners. The market would have actually gone backwards.
So let's actually break down what this shift looks like. When you dig into the numbers, they tell this really fascinating and, frankly, dramatic story about the changing face of the American homeowner.
This chart just lays it all out perfectly. That gain of 441,000 Hispanic owner households, well, it was almost perfectly canceled out by an identical drop among non-Hispanic white households. Then, you factor in the decline among non-Hispanic black households, and you can see crystal clear just how essential that one positive bar was.
And that incredible surge pushed the total number of Hispanic-owned homes to a new all-time record of 10.2 million. This isn't just another data point, It's a huge milestone that reflects a solid decade of steady, consistent growth.
Edwin Acevedo, who's the president of NAHREP, really hits the nail on the head here. He points out that this happened in a really tough economic climate, a time when a lot of would-be buyers were just sitting on the sidelines. But this group kept pushing forward, and in doing so, they basically held up the entire market.
But right when you think the story is pretty straightforward, the data throws us a massive curveball, something that seems, well, completely contradictory. It creates this fascinating paradox.
Okay, so here's the puzzle. How on earth can you add a record number of new homeowners, pushing the total to an all-time high, but at the same time, the actual homeownership rate for that group goes down? It just feels like that shouldn't be possible. And boom, this slide solves the entire mystery. It's a tale of two different growth rates. Yeah, the number of new homeowners, that's the numerator in the equation, grew by a super impressive 441,000. But the number of total households, including renters, grew way, way faster, by over 1 million. The denominator just grew faster than the numerator. Simple as that. And the sheer scale of that household growth is, it's just mind-boggling. Look at this chart. Hispanic households made up nearly 93% of all new households formed in the entire country that year. This incredible growth, right here, is the key to understanding where the market is headed. So, why is this happening? Well, one word: demographics. With a median age of just 31, the Hispanic population is the youngest major ethnic group in the country. That means there's this huge demographic wave of people just now entering their prime home buying years, and they're going to be fueling demand for decades. But here's the catch. This incredible demographic engine is running smack into some of the toughest market conditions we've seen in a very long time. There are some serious headwinds and hurdles standing in the way.
And the challenges are coming from every angle. You've got new rules for real estate agents that are adding to upfront costs, a climate of fear created by heightened immigration enforcement, and then the huge economy-wide problems, a massive housing shortage, starter homes becoming less and less affordable, and not enough labor to build the new houses we need.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract idea on a chart. We're hearing from people on the front lines, like Eloy Benavides, a mortgage originator down in Dallas. He's seen the impact firsthand. He says that fear of enforcement is literally causing families to slam the brakes or just give up entirely on their dreams of buying a home. It's having a real chilling effect.
And for the folks who are still in the game trying to buy, it's like the goalposts just keep moving further and further away. Just look at this. Back in 2019, about 60% of homes for sale were priced under $350,000. Fast forward to 2025, and that number has plummeted to just 41%. The whole pool of affordable entry-level homes is just evaporating.
And all of this is layered on top
of a massive national problem, a housing deficit of nearly 4 million homes. That's not just a statistic, it's a fundamental supply crisis that, you guessed it, hits first-time buyers the hardest, the very people at the core of this growth demographic.
So, where does all this leave us? What's the future of the market actually look like? Well, it really all boils down to this one major conflict: an unstoppable wave of demographic resilience meeting unprecedented market resistance. And yet, despite all those hurdles, the long-term outlook seems pretty clear. As Edwin Acevedo says, the fundamental drivers here, youth and resilience, they aren't going anywhere. This strongly suggests that the influence of Latino buyers isn't just a blip on the radar. It's going to be a defining feature of the housing market for a long, long time.
So if you want to understand the U.S. housing market today, this is the core tension you absolutely have to grasp. It is the story of an unstoppable demographic force meeting a set of nearly immovable market barriers.
And that leaves us with this one really powerful question to chew on. You know, the pursuit of homeownership has always been at the heart of the American dream. So what does it mean for all of us when that dream is now being single-handedly carried forward by the very people who are facing the biggest, and still growing, roadblocks to achieving it?